I have a story that thank you very much for sharing this story. This right here, the story that she shared is many of us have questions and valid concerns about what's going on the continent of Africa. Now, I want to put this disclaimer in here. It's sad and unfortunate that I have to do this, but sometimes people make it so you have to do this. You have to do this sort of thing because folk are not always realistic. When we report on anything or we talk about any subject, regardless to whether or not it's on the continent or here in the U.S., you have to understand that opinions are allowed, right? And that we are allowed to have concerns about things. We are not just to accept something the way you want us to accept it because it was said to us, right? We even have people on the continent who have sent us their very own personal warnings about navigating through various countries in Africa. Okay, now this coming out of Africa is of big concern to me personally because specifically out of Ghana, Ghana has reached out to those in the diaspora and offered the return. And there's a lot of questions still remaining about this. And my biggest issue with the continent, period, whatever country it is the influence of outsiders. I feel like if I am going to move to the continent and still be subject to a great influence from outsiders, then what is the point? The particular article that was shared with me, it says that a Chinese company wins broadcasting rights over a state-owned broadcaster in Ghana. And as I read through the article, and I'm going to read through it bit by bit here, I said to myself, the issue that we as a people have, when I say we as a people, I'm talking about dark indigenous people. It seems as though we are getting to the point where we favor those who are outside of us over those who look like us. I remember I saw a video some time ago where a guy from Kenya, he stated that over in his own home country, in his homeland, that people would with outsiders or foreigners than with him. Thus, he was forced out of the country, forced off of the continent to do work elsewhere in order to survive or in order for his business to be productive and prosperous. In other words, he spent all that money to get education, wanting to be of benefit to those on the continent, but they won't even hire him. They were hiring foreigners. And so that's what I see happening here. So y'all need to help me understand why it is expected of us in the diaspora to just overlook this and just, come to the continent anyway and just deal with whatever comes. Because when I see this kind of stuff and someone is asking me to overlook this type of thing, I'm sorry, I can't overlook that. I can't accept the fact that my own people would prefer to do business with outsiders, people who can't stand us, than they would their own. Now, it's different if you were getting horrible customer service. If someone wants to give me a follow-up story, they just weren't getting the best service from the Ghanaian broadcaster, and that they were mistreating them and they were just being abusive and all this. Okay, I get it then. But if you can't give me such a link to provide proof that this Ghanaian company wasn't worthy of remaining as the broadcaster, then everything else is just fluff talk to me. Anyway, let me get into this. It says Chinese paid TV won a 5 years contract from the Ghana Football Association, Ghana Premier League, which used to be broadcast for free by the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation on the national television, will now be aired on the paid platform owned by the Chinese. Okay, so that's the first part right there. It said that they were being aired free by the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. Free. Zero. No money. But now they have opted to pay for 5 years of service from a platform owned by the Chinese. Okay. Now I'm sure there are going to be a million reasons why this decision was made. So again, if someone has a follow-up for this story, I will be glad to hear it. But right now I'm reading this story, right? Because from time to time I'll get people from Africa to say, well, you don't know what's going on the continent. Absolutely, I don't. But we have a right to talk about the things that, such as this, and many money-making opportunity. And I had people come at me about that. When you have people telling us to come home to the continent. And I hear reports that they made $1.6 billion off of the diaspora coming there. Now, I gave my take on that, but don't present it to me as one of those things where you're asking me to come home. And then I feel like it was an opportunity to get money more so than anything else, because that's just my 2 cents on it. Okay, I've said many times that if we had a proper opportunity where we knew how things were going to go, if we knew that our family could be stable, I would much rather be among my people. I've said that many times. But when I have all of these question marks over my head, when I feel like outsiders are going to get better treatment, they're going to be, and then I have my own people telling me that if you go there, make sure that you have private security. So is that serious to where I need private security? Now, I'm talking about people who live on the continent saying this, and people who have visited. Message from both those who live there and those who have visited there, that you should probably get some private security because things can get kind of rough and kind of dangerous. That's a lot to think about, family. Now, let me go more into this. It says the Ghana Football Association announced Star Times as the new TV right owners in a press release. The FA said in a statement that Star Times emerged winners of the competitive bidding process after the GFA accepted their offer, which was the best among other bids. So theirs was the best among other bids. So I wish I knew what was involved in those bids, because it was already said that the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation offered them free broadcasting. So was free no longer on the table? So let's get into this some more. It says, however, the Ghanaian state-owned broadcaster, Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, which is a major competitor, denied that Star Times emerged the best terms of the bids. In a statement released on the 8th of January 2020, Ghana Broadcasting Corporation was disappointed in the FA's decision because their bid for the right to broadcast the Ghana Premier League was higher than that of the Chinese companies. Star Times, which was granted the exclusive right over the national broadcaster. According to the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, they made an annual offer of 1 against the offer of Star Times, which was 1,050,000. Shocked to be informed that they lost the right. GBC further added that this unfair decision to deny the state-owned broadcast television consortium the rights will deny many Ghanaians access to the Ghana Premier League and FA Cup live games on free-to-air broadcast. As it stands now, the football-loving Ghanaians who cannot afford StarTime's decoders or the subscription fees will have to wait for the highlights after the matches are played. Wow. So that appears to me another example of how our people prefer our outsiders. They prefer outsiders over their own. Even though GBC offered more money, they were not accepted. And now the people of Ghana, for services that were initially being offered to them free, or not as much as what these people are going to be charging. Subscription fees, it says, now football-loving Ghanaians who cannot afford StarTime's subscription fees. The highlights. For highlights after the matches are played. And so this is another example for me as to why our people who are in the diaspora, if you can't afford to make any mistakes with moving abroad, give yourself some time and the opportunity to get all of the funds that you need first before going over there and expecting to just fall right into line with life. One thing that I've heard a lot of people say, they want to get out of America, and somehow they think that if we go to a foreign land where nothing is familiar to us, that things are going to become easier for us, although the people who already live there have a very difficult time surviving. Now, the people that I've heard of going over there, or the people that I know of that have gone to live in it, most of to survive there with not as much, and they have certain things that they're doing to try to generate income or whatever. But there have been testimonies as well of those who haven't found it as easy as is being painted by some people. A lot of people who go there can afford to financially move there and support themselves. But if you are struggling here in the U.S. and you think that you're going to pick up and go to Ghana and things are just going to instantaneously become easy for you, that is not realistic thinking, okay? And if you're just trying to escape the rulership of people who don't look like us, you need to think again and understand that even in Ghana or other regions of Africa, there is still a lot of outside influence over the people, okay? And so you need to stand still and be realistic and wait for the voice of the Most High Yah to instruct you on when and where to go. That's just my take on it. Of course, some of you don't care about what my take is. That is fine. If you want to get on the next thing smoking out of here and touch down in Ghana or South Africa or any other region of the continent, and it is in your mind that life is just going to fall in place for you, nothing I continue to try to shed some light on the subject of Africa to those who will hear. All I'm saying is to be careful before you make moves, and don't just move out of anxiety. Don't move because someone's told you to, and don't move without knowing that you're going to be able to survive once you get there. Because like I said, if I had the money and the right money just presents a whole other scenario or situation for you. I believe that you have to have really deep pockets if you want to live comfortably there. That is my take on it. And when I say comfortably, I mean being able to have all of your items shipped over there without worrying about how much you're going to have left once you pay for the shipping of your items. Once you get there, going to be double leased or double sold because there have been conflicts on land being sold. We've had people who live on the continent who come from the diaspora who have said, be very careful sending money because you could be sending money to someone who is scamming you. Okay. This has been said. Okay. So it is what it is. And they were saying to be sure that you know who you're doing business with, because there are those who will sell a deed or a property to more than one person. And then these conflicts arise. If I buy a house, I want to know that that is my house and that that's my land, and that there's not going to be another person coming saying, well, no, I own this. And then another person said, no, I own this. I don't want to be involved in anything like that. I want to, if we were to move to the continent, I want to make sure that everything that we can navigate and survive, and that we can deal with the people on the ground on a level that is comfortable, okay? Because not everyone wants us there. That has been told to us as well. But there are those who do want us there. And those are the ones that I want to be involved with, because guess what? I say it all the time. From a very young age, before I even knew who we were, as far as our cultural identity as Israelites, I have always loved my people here in the diaspora and on the continent. I've always had a deep and strong love for my people. But one thing that I can't stand is for people to think just because you love them that you need to allow them to use and abuse you and walk all over you. I mean, that used to be me a long time ago, but that ain't me no more. So just because someone looks like me and just because I happen to love them, I'm not going to let anyone use and abuse me anymore, okay, or take advantage of me if I can help it. That's just the way it is. And it seems to be a lot of people who feel like you are wrong. If you don't let me use and abuse you, then you're wrong. You need to get out of here with that, because I'm no longer a Christian. Christianity had me thinking and believing that way. You see, again, be very careful because, like the article states, they preferred the Chinese broadcasting company over. To me, that's a sore thing. I don't like it. Okay? Like I said, if you got some more details on why they would choose the Chinese over the Ghanaians, please forward that information. Shalom. Comment, share, like, and subscribe.